Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. Today I want to talk a little bit about my history with the Xbox, a more personal look at the games that defined my childhood and my experiences on the Xbox that made me who I am today. I think lists like this are important because they help me understand my critical thinking behind certain games and generally how I feel about games, which is defined by the games I've played. I also feel it's important for you guys to see where I'm coming from on my opinions on games. These aren't necessarily the best games ever, but games I look back on fondly, and I still love them all. I've got 5 games for you today, and all footage was captured off of an original Xbox, and I'd like to thank my YouTube channel members for their support. But let's go ahead and hop into this one. So let's start off with a big one, Halo Combat Evolved. I know it's not entirely original, but Halo really was a defining game for so many people, and I was one of those kids. I remember always liking games growing up. I played fighting games, Mario, and what have you, but I never realized it as a passion. One of those things that added to my life. That was until Halo. To be honest with you, the Xbox wasn't on my radar at this age. I barely knew a thing about it, but I had a friend whose dad owned an Xbox, and I got a chance to play it, and we played Halo together. My life changed at that point, and it wasn't until later that I truly realized that. This moment defined what I wanted from a game and what a game could be, and it was a pinnacle experience. Not long after, I ran out and got my parents to buy me an Xbox for my birthday, and it had to come with Halo. It soon became one of those games that I've played consistently ever since, and it's a true comfort game for me, and I can roll through it and have a great time no matter what. A defining game, not only in gaming, but also in my life. What can be said about Halo Combat Evolved that hasn't already been said? To me, Halo is a near perfect game, and even nostalgia aside, which of course there's going to be bias with this game, always, I still find it to be brilliantly designed. The sandbox level design is brilliant. I love the way the levels feel in scope, or even in smaller levels like the Pillar of Autumn flow in a maze-like pattern. From Silent Cartographer's brilliant beaches and canyons, or the caves of the level Halo. The scope and openness of the design feels like it was trying to push what the Xbox was capable of, and I still think it comes out as something unique today. There were many copycats, but only one game truly captured a Halo feeling. The look overall is what I hope for in an Xbox game. Sure, the console would push graphics even further, but there is something in the colors and the grass, or the purples of the Covenant interiors that really pop. The scale and detail is also unique. It's an art style that really broke out as soon as the console dropped, and it's defining sci-fi. Not only that, but it's just plain fun. I love the feel of the controls. They are incredible shooter controls. All of the enemy types you encounter and their shields and their designs, shooting them is all a blast, and this game never lets up on the action. Throw in all the vehicles, and of course the multiplayer. Even though not officially supporting online, playing this multiplayer was an awesome experience on one console, and that brought so much joy to me. I think it was a formative game for me, and it's still one that I look up to as being one of the best things about the Xbox. Without it at launch, who knows where we'd be at now, and who knows where this channel would be. Halo changed my life, and without it, this channel probably wouldn't exist. So I do have to give it up for Halo. Next up is Fable. One of those games that I found that a lot of people either love or hate, and I'm one of those people that loved it and still love it to this day. It was a game that had a lot of hype around it, but I was so young that it felt like I was out of the loop. Though there were plenty of trailers included in other Xbox games, I remember seeing this one pop up again and again, and something about it enamored me. I was so excited that I remember the day it came out, I went to Hollywood Video and there were a ton of copies, so I had to pick it up. And I loved it so much that I bought it soon after that. As an Xbox head, I wasn't really at all into RPGs. Sure, I had various Pokemon games, but action RPGs like this typically weren't my go-to. But something about Fable really captured what I wanted out of a game at that time. A wonderfully designed and written world that is easy to get lost in. Something about the world of Albion captured me at that point in my life. The swelling music and light sounds of the world. I feel Halo had important music for me, but with Fable, it felt cinematic, really capturing my love for video game soundtracks. It also cemented my love for world building and art design. The way Fable is lovingly crafted with beautiful worlds to explore. Something about the off-kilter humor of the game worked so well. All the characters stand out as oddball, and I always loved that the world wasn't cookie-cutter fantasy, but still owed a lot to the genre. I loved all the different terrains and creatures, and I spent hours upon hours just exploring Albion and not even playing the game. As far as the action goes, I always loved the quick action of Fable, the ability to move between will, range, and melee swiftly. It worked well for me, and I think it offers enough challenge for me back then, and still to this day, to be quite fun. Throw in the mini RPG building mechanics to make your character your own. I also love the game's boasting system that allows you to gain more rewards by making the game more challenging for yourself. Yet overall, what I took out of this game at a young age was world building. That a solid art design, beautiful music, and a wonderful set of characters can make a game for me. If it's an interesting world to get lost in and you can love the design of everything, it can be captivating. And that's what Fable delivers on, and that makes it one of those standout games to me for this console and in my life. It's one that I will love forever. Next up is one I haven't covered on the channel yet, and that's Indigo Prophecy, known as Fahrenheit everywhere else. This was a multi-platform release, but I remember going to Walmart and spotting this game in the bargain bin. I knew nothing of it, but something about it caught my eye, and I picked it up. At that point in my life, my dream was to work in the movie business, and I've always loved movies. And with Indigo Prophecy, I felt like the cinematic flair helped me discover that gaming could be more than just a game. Indigo Prophecy is a storytelling game at its forefront. It wants to give you a plot and then tie gameplay to that. Though I do think it starts to lose itself in the endgame with a crazy story, I think it tries to establish something grand for 2004 with multiple characters you follow, all with great voice acting and dialogue. You get to play as a serial killer and the people trying to investigate the serial killings. They feel like real humans at first, and when you explore where the plot goes, it oftentimes delivers something deep. Now, like I said, it gets out of hand by its finale, but at least it's a fun ride, and it's taking a swing at something interesting in gaming. It's the dialogue and characters, though, that makes this one stand the test of time for me. There are plenty of great gaming characters that I had played at this point in time, but something about how these ones had faults and were defined characters that made me realize that gaming has a lot more to offer as a medium. Something that was allowed to slow down and focus on a plot-driven moment, or be plain depressing. It showed that gaming had emotional depth and how that can be built up with interacting with it. And I know games before this had done this, but there was something about this one that really spoke to me at the time it came out. Though I do admire it for many other things, such as embracing weird game design. The whole stick movements to make your choices and do all the things in the game is such an odd design, but the uniqueness gives it flair. The mix of different gameplay types gives this game variety. Trying new fresh things makes this one stand out, and I think more games need to do that. Innovation and weird ambition can be the next breakthrough, or at least make sure your game isn't a slog repeat of another game. The weirder the game is, the better it can be sometimes. So Indigo Prophecy is one of those defining games for me, truly something special in that generation, and that's what I strive to find, games that were trying something fresh and has a goal to really do something different.
Did you happen to notice anything strange about the suspect's behavior before he went into the restroom?
No. Wait. Yes. I remember something.
Here's one I talk about often, and that's Tony Hawk's Underground 2, but it's one of those defining games and franchises in my life. I remember one of my earliest games that I tried was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on the Nintendo 64, and soon after that I became obsessed with this franchise. I remember renting these games anytime they came out, and I would go back and re-rent old ones. They were on constant rotation. Yet I remember when Underground 2 dropped. I had played the first Underground and I loved it, but at that time I also loved shows like Viva La Bam and Jackass, just silly, fun shows, and the fact that the world of the Tony Hawk games and Jackass were coming together really felt like a match made in heaven at the time. To me, Underground 2 is pure arcade perfection. Easy to get right into, play, and have an absolute blast with, and it comes with 2 games. You have the main story, but they also included a classic mode, which is no slouch here. It's full of new and old levels, and all with that classic timer and goals feel. To me, Underground 2 has some of my favorite levels in any Hawk game, and getting this much out of this game is awesome. For me, Underground meant a lot to me just as a gamer then. Pure fun, nothing frilly, just a great time. The controls are down perfectly for this entry, and it feels great, allowing you to hop off your board, and it opens up much of the levels. The level design was perfect for the franchise at this point, and there are so many fun details in this game. Though Thug 2 never looked quite amazing, the level design and detail is what made it shine. I feel like it's because of this game I enjoy small detailed worlds over large ones. I feel like intimately building up great levels with awesome pockets of fun things to do is what I prefer, similar to Bully, which you could throw into this list if we included non-original Xbox games. And I feel like those experiences defined what I love in gaming. Overall though, I feel like this game is more about fun, and I feel like that's what I get out of this game. Though I did speak highly of Indigo Prophecy, sometimes all a game needs to be is entertaining. You have a goofy plot with dumb characters, but you get that gameplay down and it gets you hooked. The final game for today is going to be Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay. This is yet another one that I rented from Hollywood Video. I've talked about rentals a lot this video, yet when I was a kid, that's how you played the newest releases. This one came out around the hype of the newest Chronicles of Riddick movie that came out around the same time. I remember renting this, popping it into my Xbox, and it just blew me away. The intro to this game has a cinematic flair to it with a tight story and amazing world building. On top of that, a great sense of action, and it barely feels like a tutorial level. You go in, sneak up and attack the guard. Then you go on an adventure to escape. You get a gun and go on this long trip through this prison. So first off, it explains the mechanics and how the game plays, and then it gets you into the slower story into the world. To me, it's one of the most brilliant openings to a game and is something important that has stuck with me. It really starts strong with action, and it really allows you to get into the gameplay and let you know what's to come. Yet the story right after that is so effective, getting you right into the plot, and then it's that slow crawl, seeing all the people, then exploring the prison, searching for a way out, so you can get to the gameplay that was teased at the beginning. It's games like these that I look back on and realize how my opinions have shaped from gaming. Elements like these story beats come together to make something completely whole. There are other things I could say that aren't perfect about Butcher Bay, but sometimes details can be overlooked in favor of the whole picture. What did this game sell me? Did it do it well, and was it laid out well? All things Butcher Bay exceeded at, one of those immersive experiences that made for an incredible Xbox game. It plays into my opinions and how I'm an impressionistic person. Someone who has a memory that does forget details, but I remember how something made me feel and how I felt about the whole. That memory mindset is reflected extremely well in how Riddick works, and it's crazy to think because it's a movie game, and it's truly a feat. It's one of the most special Xbox games, and it really speaks to me to this day. Well, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like as it really helps me on the algorithm. Comment below with any games that defined you from the Xbox, or maybe not even from the Xbox. I would just love to hear from you. Subscribe to keep up with more Xbox videos like this, and check out my second channel, Camp Extras, for more gaming videos. And I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your support. You really help out the channel, and I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.